Doc is one of two flying B-29s that still remain today. 1,644 of them were built in Wichita, Kansas, where this one was restored. The United States built just under 4,000 of them, and to have one that we can fly around the country like we have is pretty special. We're able to let people get up close and personal with the B-29 and really learn about the greatest generation and the technology and all of the might that went into building these airplanes, most of which were built by women in the 1940s. At the height of production, the workforce was over 80% female, and in Wichita, Kansas, where they built this airplane, they were rolling out 4.5 completed B-29s per day. So we're honored to let people come and see it and get up close and personal and experience a B-29 like never before. Doc was part of a radar calibration squadron based in upstate New York during World War II. It was part of the Snow White Squadron. There were 9 airplanes that were part of the squadron. It was Snow White, the Seven Dwarfs, and the Wicked Witch were the names of the airplanes. Served until 1956, when it was given to the United States Navy to be a bombing target in the Mojave Desert in China Lake, California. It sat there for 4 decades, finally was rescued, brought back to Wichita, Kansas on 7 flatbed trailers. It took 16 years, 450,000 volunteer hours to put the airplane back together. We roared back to flight in 2016 thanks to our heroes, our volunteers, all of which are still involved today. And without our volunteer crew and our volunteer team back in Wichita, Kansas, we're not able to bring the aircraft out and showcase it and teach the next generation about the greatest generation. So for the week, we'll be here through the weekend. People will be able to crawl up inside of Doc. It's a living history museum, but it's unlike any other museum you've been to. We want people to actually crawl in it, touch it, feel it, hug it, kiss it if they want, and then learn about it. It's a hands-on experience. So we'll do ground tours on Thursday and on Friday from 10 to 4, both of those days. And then we've got ride flights available too, where people can actually ride in the airplane, sit in the seats, feel the sights and the sounds, and experience that. Those are Saturday and Sunday mornings, then followed by ground tours both of those days at 12 until 4 p.m. It's an opportunity for people to get up close and personal with a piece of history and really get a hands-on look at the greatest generation and what they did to protect our freedom.
This is pilot Mark Novak, who is one of 9 pilots in the world that is able to fly the B-29.
2 pilots facing forward, a flight engineer on the other side did all the work. He did the systems on the airplane, the fuel, electricity, engines. He ran all that from his station over there. Navigator sat on this side, radio operator on that side. So 6 people in this little area, 4 more in the back. They were all gunners. The circle on the floor and the circle up above is where the guns were. They would have stepped down a couple feet, came up a couple feet. They were remote control, so they would have had their motors to turn on, their ammo belts and that, so this area was actually very congested. A piece of history, and you just have to have the right frame of mind to go out and do it. I'm a retired military guy, so it's a lot like what I did in the military. I flew the B-1 bomber, and I also flew refueling airplanes, so I've worked with the crew and all that. It's a little different than, we have minimum of 6 people on board at every time, so you have to work with your flight engineer and your scanners in the back, so it's a full-time engagement. I'm honored because there's, like I said, there's only 9 guys in the world that get a fly left seat in the airplane. Like our mantra is, we honor the men who flew and the women who built them. These days, there's not as many of those gentlemen alive, but they come out, or now it's their children want to come out and they want to know what their dad did, where their dad sat, and we can tell that piece of history. We want to educate, so we certainly tell lots of stories and show lots of equipment and what the airplanes did.